Hello everybody and welcome to some spectator mode roulette. I have loaded up this game randomly from the currently live ranked games. Just chose the top one from the top of the list. I have no idea who these players are. I've ineffectively censored their names, but you'll still be able to see them come up in the messages, and when I select units so on, it doesn't really matter. But I'm not going to be focusing on their names, and we're going to be referring to them today as red and blue because we've got a mirror, and even more hilarious than that, we have got an Otto mirror. Ottoman's the most popular civ. Some would say the cheesiest and easiest of the civs. But a civ with an awful lot of potential and an awful lot of options. Will we see mirror symmetric behavior? Will we see the same strategy executed to similar levels of quality, or will we see two very different plays in this game? The only way to find out is by watching it go. So we have the blue player at the bottom of the map. The map is, of course, Bohemia, with the unmistakable for Pokeball. Is it Pokeball? No, Team Fortress 2 logo, isn't it? 4 sectors, 4 pie slices, and the players start on opposite ones of those 4. We've got the blue player opening up with a market, got hunting dogs, got a house, and got a TP. By my maths, that's 450 wood, so they needed to chop 50, or maybe they found a treasure at the beginning there. And we'll hop over to the red player, and we can see that they have also opened up with a trading post and another trading post. So going for double trading post, 10 population, 300 wood coming in, interestingly, to smooth things out. So that's probably going to give them their house, and I'm guessing since they've bothered to send the 300 wood, they'll also invest in a mosque, and they can't quite afford the first mosque tech by my maths, which is a bit sad. But maybe they'll chop a bit extra for that or find a treasure or something. And the red explorer is loose down here, going to be working on getting 85 coin, which is not a bad steal to pick up in early age 1 whatsoever. Age up available, coming in now, and it's the Philosopher Prince, so that's interesting. Having shipped the 300 wood as an age 1 shipment, they can then take the Philosopher Prince for the age up instead of the Quartermaster, and they're going to get 500 wood to kickstart whatever their plan is in age 2. If we look at the deck, say we've got all the resource crates in age 2, no Silk Road to enhance those, no 5 Jans though, which makes me think that they're going to be targeting a fast fortress and these 5 Spahi as their opening military move. It's just going off instincts there. We've also got the church card in deck, Palace Intrigue, but we have not got the discount. So if they choose to go for that Palace Intrigue, they're going to be paying the very expensive price for these very good military shipments opportunities. Meanwhile, over on the blue side of the map is Ottoman Empire, and we've had 3 villagers, and we've just had Silk Road as the second shipment, so probably want to be putting down that second TP so that that can benefit from the 25% bonus as well. Mosque is down. First mosque upgrade is not been clicked. 200 wood has been collected during transition, so can open up with a barracks. We've only got a meager set of crates and the extensive fortifications in age 2, so probably also targeting age 3, maybe also targeting the spy on age up. And I know, again, we've got the church card, but we have not got the discount. Also, 7 of our allies. Is that a good card? It doesn't seem like a good card. Maybe it'll prove a good card. We've got slightly more industrial options for the blue player as well, so they might be targeting a slightly later game. Oh, now this is interesting. Just heard the little music sting for a destroyed trade post, and I think that was because red started building this trade post before blue got to it, and so you get the sting for a lost trade post because it thinks like the foundation has been destroyed. So that's kind of interesting. Red I'll try and keep the same player selected as I'm actually looking at, but it's always a lot harder in a mirror. Red gathering up their coin has also shipped in 700 wood to open up H2, so could well be on their way up to Fast Fortress, and actually kind of not just doing a Fast Fortress with pretty good time, although they could definitely improve their Fast Fortress time if they moved a couple more villagers over to crates. Didn't plan that excellently. This hunt was quite far away from base. Oh, please don't tell me you're like moving all 8 villagers back. That is overkill. No, just moving them across to this slightly safer hunt, which I can sort of understand. Yeah, presumably this is a Fast Fortress macro. Could really benefit from having more villagers on the crates, because it's going to be something like 30 or 40 seconds longer than it needed to be to get this Fortress Age started. Hop back over to blue, and there is some Age 2 military coming up. We've got a batch of Janissaries. Has easily got the resources to fill that out, and looks like another batch queued up behind it. So be interested to see whether this is just like a semi-FF, a bit of defense, or whether we're going to see a full Age 2 push here. 700 coin coming in. The first shipment was 5 villages. So a little bit of everything, a little bit of boom, a little bit of Age 2 play. Obviously got the market and got hunting dogs as well. But plenty of cards in for Age 3, so I think they are going to be going up in time. And yeah, this 700 coin, going to need a little bit more coin mined, I think. Have also got crates of food. Oh, so also aged up with the Philosopher Prince. Left those crates of food on the floor, which is a little bit of a missed opportunity. But thanks to Silk Road, is going to be getting a lot more out of those crates. So actually doesn't need to mine as much coin as I thought they did. So this is really good. Silk Road already paying off, letting the blue player pick up letting the blue player pick up 8 Janissaries and still get, and the extra 5 villagers, and still get their Fortress Age up started before it's completed for the red player. Red player up into Age 3 now, has put down a stable, so I wonder if it's all cav is the strategy. This wasn't the play with the Fenar allies though, that was the blue player. But yeah, stable goes down. Nothing coming from it so far. Only got 15 villagers, so I'm kind of interested. This looks like a strategy where they really want to be taking advantage of their shipments, and indeed we can see they're clicking those spy, but haven't got them yet. There we go. Spy and Q, now they're housed, so they really want to be putting down a house, otherwise they're going to miss out on their free villagers for the foreseeable. Benefiting enormously, I think, from the 3 trade posts, though. I don't have Silk Road, but obviously 3 times 100% is a lot better than 1 times 125%. These Janissaries are prowling around for the blue player. Could come out and challenge this trade post. Not really sure why they're not bothering to. I don't think the element of surprise is going to matter an awful lot against an opponent who's an age above you. It's also worth noting, does red have 2 Falcons? Red does not have 2 Falcons. So obviously these Sifai are just monstrously strong units and can probably wipe out this massive Janissaries all on their own. But no 2 Falcons, so after that kind of going to be struggling a bit for anti-infantry. Won't get anything good from the stable, so needs to either put down a fort or an artillery foundry to try and get some Abbas. But this is a nice, effective mass. We've got 4 Dells from the stable. We've got 5 This is going to come in, and they're going to be able to put the fear into this group of Janissaries who are not get veterans yet and defend the trade post. But it looks like they've actually decided to go the other way and push into the enemy base, see what they can find. Has not been pre-scouted, so don't know where to look for the hunts. Able to pick off these 5 Janissaries who were waiting around to defend the base, though. Don't agree with that decision to leave those 5 Jans behind at all. They were lambs to the slaughter. better to keep your army just together in one place for maximum firepower. Or Ebus from the age up, skulking around at the back here, but they need to be running away, not towards this cav. 1,000 wood has come in. That 1,000 wood is, of course... Is that 1,000 wood and 700 wood been shipped, I believe? No, I don't know why there are 3 sets of wood crates there. Can't explain that at all. Maybe a native tech granted some wood crates? But anyway, lots of wood came in from the wood crates for the blue player. And actually the mass of infantry and janissaries was enough to clean up that cav. And so now things are looking really, really good for blue because both players are up in Fortress. Blue hasn't used theirs first spy shipment yet. Blue has got 2 falconets in the deck. Hasn't actually got any other kind of momentum shipments available, but has got quite a superior eco, leading 28, plays 20, and I think has more market techs as well than Red does. Red's response, though, not giving up yet, is to plonk down a fort. That fort is going to keep them safe for a while. Blue instead doesn't know about the fort, but is choosing to focus on these trade posts. I imagine they're going to be building the 3rd trade post here as well, so that they can actually have 3 times 1.25, 3.75 trade posts worth of XP coming in, which is going to be a really nice income for them, and taking maximum advantage of that Silk Road. Blue has now got the first 2 levels of settler upgrade. Has put down a TC foundation, but the Explorer is busy. Explorer has too much on their to-do list at the moment. Needs to put down this trading post, then can go over and start on the TC. Of course, Ottoman's TCs take longer to build if you build them with a villager, which they have done over here. So goodness me, getting a lot of value out of that 1,000 wood. Actually has got quite a few villagers chopping wood this whole time as well. 2 falconets the next shipment. Is overpopped, so needs to invest in some houses. Still picking up some of that wood. 700, yeah. So they did in some order send both 700 and 1,000 wood. I did think they had more wood than I could possibly imagine, and that's why I've also got the resources to get aging up to industrial here. Goodness me, this Ottoman eco. I mean, they haven't even had, like, they've invested in 2 extra town centres, which haven't even started to pay dividends yet. But just thanks to Silk Road and the 5 villages, and I guess capitalism, which is a couple more villages as well. Oh no, that's the wrong player. Just thanks to Silk Road, 3 villages plus 5 villages, and these resource crates, they've been able to get into a position where they have got a great mass of units, which have all been trained locally. No, none of these units are shipped in whatsoever. I've got their 2 falconets, have, you know, got 36 villages, some of them idle, and now are getting up to industrial at 14 minutes, probably 15. And that is a really, really good day's work, basically. So I really like this build that Ottomans have gone for. Get the 3 Spy, which Shadow Tech up to guard level for the age up. Generally, I think seen as the best, objectively the best age 4 age up for the Ottomans, so not really surprised there. You can also spawn some Magar Hussars when they feel like it, because they've got that native trade post, have also got the resource stockpile one. I wonder if that could, you know, that could be used to set yourself up for a fast revolt really nicely as well. On the other side of the map, though, the red player has also gone up to industrial, sitting with their fort to protect them from a kind of momentary disadvantage in terms of military numbers. terms of eco, though, they're still a fair bit behind. 26 villagers, plays 42, plus remember blue has the TPs, and I think may have more market techs, although it looks like it's pretty level at this stage. Oh. No, blue does actually have the wood chopping market tech 1 level higher. Red choosing to go for some cavalry archers and has put down the stable and going for harquebusier as well. Cavalry archers, of course, start off veteran because they're an age 3 unit. Where are these harquebusier? I'm curious to actually find out anything about them. The scores are really telling a sad story here for red, though. A disadvantage of 10,000 points and almost 40% for red score, so probably going to be a bit nervous if they're paying attention to that. These harquebusiers are... They're goons. They have a negative against villagers and heavy infantry, but a huge amount of damage, so I wouldn't exactly call it a negative. And 2 rate of fire. These guys are very Ulan-like kind of ranged units. Has high melee attack strength and can attack at range but low HP. Yeah, so they're kind of like a slightly ranged Ulan goon. Good against light infantry, though. Why are they good against light infantry? Oh, because they only get them negative multiplier against heavy infantry. So they really are like a ranged Ulan, then. That's how you should understand those, I reckon. Janissaries, yeah, will do okay against the Harks. Will do okay against the cavalry archers. It's kind of a bit of a much of a muchness in terms of counters. Blue does, of course, need an answer to the fort. It looks like they might be thinking about mortars since we've got the artillery foundry down, or they could just be thinking about Abbas. In terms of shipments, we've got blue going for both factories. First factory is down and already working on some great bombards. Also still got the 2 falconets from the age 3 shipment, haven't been used at all yet. In terms of resources, blue has obviously kind of got control of 3-ish of the sectors. Red is starting to run out of hunts. Did do a good job of taking this hunt in the middle of these 2 islands earlier, so sort of a bit of an efficiency there. That's nice. But yeah, red's military mass right now is also got 2 falconets from a shipment and a bunch of these harquebusier mercs who do look pretty badass, to be honest, and these veteran cavalry archers, but it's all quite fragile. There's not a lot of HP there. Going to be relying, I think, on the fort to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Red has gone for 40 Cs now, so could potentially catch up eco-wise. Seem to be down quite a bit on villagers. Maybe haven't got the mosque techs in as quickly as blue did. I wonder, we'll check the graph afterwards and see if they were capped at some stage. We'll just compare as well the mosque situation. So yeah, blue has gone for full mosque techs now, so is going to be getting a little bit of an edge. I don't know whether 4 TCs without the last mosque tech beats 3 with. Please write in the comments if you know that. What an obscure thing to know, though. Blue's starting to need to transition to berries and mills, which is actually kind of unnecessary. I think still quite a lot of hunts, and they do have effective control of a lot of the map here. The army is split, which I'm not sure I like. We've got this big block of 30 Janissaries down here who are going to be skirmishing with the Explorer. And then up here in the top, we've got the 3 Spy and some artillery wandering about. I mean, if Red scouted this and located that artillery, it could all go down very, very quickly to some of those harquebusiers. And that could be a really good score for Red. I don't think the Spy are really enough to defend that artillery from Red's army if it were, I say, if it were to scout them and move over. No one going for any culverins, so it's going to be a straight up in your face artillery war. Interesting to note, actually, it looks like Red is not making great bombards. No, they've got their factory on coin. They do still have one coin mine, so that is a choice rather than a forced choice. But instead investing in 3 falconets and field guns, so reckons the smaller artillery pieces are the more efficient way to get things done here. I think the proof will be in the pudding on that one. Blue's also picking up another trade post in the north here. To say, I don't know why Blue is picking up all these trade posts. They're European trade posts, so you don't get a base XP income from them. I'm not aware of Blue making any use of the abilities. Obviously, the Radetzky March ability they might just be holding on to, but the balance of powers, I don't really know if it's that useful to go for anyway. Picking up Austro-Hungarian Air Pipe, which I think is the one that gives you a grenadier with every shipment. Kind of a little bit late to be picking that up, in my opinion. And we see a bit of conflict here. Now, this is interesting. Blue's army, as I say, was split, but the stronger half is getting engaged here. Blue also bringing out some cavalry archers who are going to do well against this mass of also light cavalry. Cavalry archers trying to dive in on the Falks, won't have the numbers to do that. Ooh, a little bit of unfortunate drag box micro there. Oh, and Red leaving one cavalry archer alive for really no good reason. There we go, the Harkebusier comes in and cleans it up. The Janissaries have decided to ignore this and do a counterattack. They're going to come under fire from these falconets. Those two, even in melee mode, won't be strong enough to deal with those falconets, so are going to get lost. 23 Janissaries are sort of all that's left of Blue's army right now. But there is this auxiliary force of bombards. Now, it'd be really good if Red reacted fast and brought their cavalry over to take out this artillery as soon as it makes itself known. Which is now, if Red is looking really, really closely at their minimap, they could spot that. Meanwhile, Blue eventually commits enough melee Janissaries to take out those falconets. Now coming under fire from the fort. Let's check how many Janissaries Blue has got now. The Janissaries are up to guard, which is quite a significant investment and quite a significant boon. But yeah, getting whittled down now, just 12 left. Some of them are still in range of the fort. This TC can spawn Minutemen. I think Red hasn't used their Minutemen yet. Oh, has. But Red has more TCs who can spawn Minutemen. And the Red Cavalry backing up these Falks now, going on the attack. Interesting to see Cavalry Archer Falk in Age 4. It kind of seems like it might be working. I think it's giving Blue a bit of a headache. This artillery is coming in now. Red needs to think about... Oh, and we've got a revolution. Right, I'm just going to... Let's just pause for a second to take in the revolution. So, we've got Blue has revoluted. That's a word. And I believe this is Egypt. We can check. Yes, they have become the Egyptians. Their thing that they get for turning into the Egyptians is their settlers become the Cavalite Fusiliers, who are just a mad unit that I'm not going to explain right now. But they sort of change their multipliers based on stances, but not the same way that the natural Ottoman Fusiliers do, and it's all really weird. They also get a Mameluke with every shipment. They've got one shipment in hand, so they can get one Mameluke, and any of these things you see on this menu here, probably 14 revs is generally seen as the best value. This is the revolution that you tend to pick to back up an artillery play, a Musk Falk or Fusilier Bombard tactic. And that's pretty much what we're seeing here. The main problem that this is going to pose to Red is these melee units going in against the Falks. It would actually be good, and this is some great game knowledge, so I'll just highlight this. Blue has put their Fusiliers onto stagger mode, and that gives them extra range, increases their range from 12 to 15, and gives them a 1.5 against artillery, so that is going to help them enormously. It's much better than melee mode for getting these Fusiliers to fight against these Falconets. And indeed, as I say that, those Falconets are pretty much finished. They're going to trade off against this Great Bombard, but guess what? In a minute, a couple more Great Bombards are going to be out here. And also, there's still all these Great Bombards in the base, being countered by some trained Delis in the base as well. They are going to finish off these Bombards, and for fairly cheap, the blue Spy, the 3 Spy who have been lurking around in this quadrant for absolutely ages, finally come in now and can cause problems for these Delis. So we might see a trade down to kind of nothing here, or we might even see a momentary blue victory. Some of the revolution units are now coming in. But actually, this is looking a bit risky for blue. Will depend a lot on how much these factories and shipments can maintain the revolution, because of course they have completely lost their eco, and they had a big eco lead. I've actually got the 6 villagers in from citizenship, I'm guessing. Yes. So might be a bit worried about that and thinking about rebuilding their economy too. However, red still needs to deal with this mass. It would be a great time to probably invest in some Abbas guns, because Abbas guns won't do awfully against artillery, but really kind of has the classic Musfalt problem now of quite strong artillery that's going to need a decent cavalry mass to beat it, and quite a big mass of musketeers defending it that will just shred any sort of melee cavalry you go for. Yeah, red losing that cavalry mass. I love, by the way, the fact these villagers are living on undisturbed here. Red losing that cavalry mass, I think down here in the revolution moment might have been the key turning point of the game. The Radetzky March is also called in for blue to spawn a bunch of hussars, and they also get grenaders with that. Is that what the tech does? I thought it was the one that added to them to shipments, but maybe that's someone else. Yeah, I think the result is pretty obvious at this stage. Blue's revolution is just giving them the momentum to wipe out red's base, and I think pretty much going to be able to wipe out red's economy to the point that this is unsavable, and we see the GG coming in. So yeah, they are a really fun game to find on the old Observation Roulette. Definitely very tight, very well played by both sides. I think red's original plan of get to fortress and get the spy out, put some early pressure on, push into the base here, beat off all the infantry. It was really interesting to see that basically got really well countered. Like, I was not expecting the Ottoman infantry to do so well. I know, like, it's heavy infantry is going to beat cavalry, but you get really, really scared of spy, and, like, I've definitely lost decent age to heavy infantry armies to 5 spy before. So I was really expecting red to get some better results with that attack down there, especially since the Ottoman army was split at the time, so they didn't all have to fight at once. But yeah, it was interesting to see that kind of mix of everything, age 2, slightly boomy tactic really pay off for Don Rafa. Blue. And yeah, I don't think the revolution was actually necessary, but it was a nice little flourish to finish off the game here. There was a moment where it looked kind of sketchy with the old sort of army and the artillery getting lost up here, but once the red cavalry mass was wiped out, it was actually just too hard for them to regain that mass, and red were also staring down the barrel of lots and lots of infantry, and they didn't have their falconets anymore, and so yeah, it's kind of all over at that stage. But yeah, a really fun game. GG, and I will see you next time.